Hello, beautiful person. Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Hadassah Yatar, and I am a life coach and a wellness advocate and an advocate for well being, which is even more important. and yeah, if you see me looking in different places, it's because I've got StreamYard going with Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, where some of my favorite people are. And so if you're on Facebook and you want to leave me a comment, then there should be like a link say, where you can give StreamYard permission to, or give Facebook permission. I don't know, give somebody permission. Hey, hello, Jen. How are you? And I'm also on Instagram, and I'm on Instagram on my phone. So, which is like right above my laptop. So I'll be looking up and down and very much appreciate you joining me. And so, whether you're on live or whether you're on later on the replay, if you're on live, please tell me you're on live. Tell me where you're coming from. If you're watching on the replay, then please put hashtag replay. so I know. So I know who you are because this is so much fun. So, ableism. So, who am I to talk about ableism? So, to begin with, let me be upfront. Thankfully for me, I am not disabled, at least not at this point in my life. You know, God willing, we'll all live long enough to experience some physical limitations. But so far, I'm 60 years old, and thank God, um, I'm in pretty good shape. I am recovering from COVID. I managed to avoid it for 2.5 years, and then we went on holiday to BC, which was absolutely wonderful. And it's kind of ironic because we tried, really hard. We chose a hotel that didn't have elevators and stuff like that, but we ended up bringing it home with us anyway. And you know what? That's just life. So sorry, just arranging this here. So it's all good because here we are. And so all five of us got it. Amazingly, my daughter-in-law didn't, but the rest of us did. And so the youngins are already completely fine, and us older ones are taking a bit longer. That's just how it goes. But thankfully, vaccinations work, so I am not complaining. But it certainly was an opportunity for me to think about things like ableism because, like I said, I am not disabled at the moment. I am kind of fatigued, but that's fine. I know I have a very good chance that it's temporary. Long COVID strikes apparently 1 in 8 people who recover from COVID. So I have 7/8 likelihood that I will not get long COVID. So God willing. Um, but any one of us can have something happen at any time. And that's just how it is. And so here's the thing about ableism. Ableism is not a new word. It's been around for a while. So I've had people tell me, well, it's just a new thing and it's unnecessary and it just inconveniences everybody else. Well, you know what? Where's my little violin? Because, when I think what it comes down to, sorry, I keep moving this around. It's just, I don't know, move myself. There. Now it should be good. Should stop fiddling. So here's the thing is that the whole idea that people who are not disabled should not inconvenience themselves to make the lives of disabled people better is a really pernicious idea, in my opinion. And I mean, it's really at the heart of the whole thing about masks because, it's really not a huge inconvenience to wear masks. Like, excuse me. We wear masks. If you fly anywhere in Canada, if you travel on a train or a plane anywhere in Canada, you wear a mask and it's fine. And so people are just whiny. Sorry, that's my opinion. Sorry. If you don't like it, then you can argue with me or not. Not arguing with me is okay too. But the thing about ableism is that it's basically the idea that it's not necessary to pay attention to people who have any sort of physical or mental disability or limitation. And that basically suggests that people who have some sort of mental or physical disability or limitation are, in fact, less human, or their lives are worth less than those of able-bodied people. And it's a really pernicious idea because, for those of us who pay attention to things like the Torah, it says very clearly that all humans were made in the image of the divine. And even if you don't believe in that sort of stuff, it doesn't matter. The fact is that the worth of a human is not based on their ability to produce value in a capitalist society. There, I said it. I'm a business owner. I do enjoy doing business. I enjoy having sales. I enjoy working with people and bringing value to their lives. But the fact remains is that people who cannot, for whatever reason, produce are still humans. Hi, Rosalba. Hi, Delisa. Getting good turnout on Instagram. Thank you so much, my friends. I'm happy to see you. And I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you want to leave a comment, I think I can see it. I'm not sure, but I hope so. Maybe if somebody wants to comment so that I can see, whether I can see comments on Instagram. I actually don't know. It's been a while since I did a live. And it's definitely been a while since I did it in combination with being on StreamYard on other places. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, or if you're on Twitter, I would love to see a comment from you. Just say hello, because I know it would be so much more fun not to be talking to myself. But it doesn't matter, because much as I love having conversations back and forth like this, it's also true that I feel quite passionately about this. And so I'm going to talk regardless of whether people answer me or not. So, but it would be more fun if people did. And certainly if you disagree with me, I would love to see what you have to say about that, because it's a pretty strong statement that ableism is pernicious, that the idea that people who cannot, for whatever reason, contribute to the economic society, to extractive capitalism. And I'm saying all of this as a person who does have a business and does do sales, but not, hopefully, in an extractive and exploitative fashion. So the fact remains is that just because a person has a reason that they can't work, whether they're a child, whether they're an elder, whether they're a person who is disabled for whatever reason, they still deserve a good life. And here's the thing, is that when I was a teacher back a long time ago, in the aughts, I did a B.Ed, and I was a teacher for a while. And one of the things that I learned when I was taking this B.Ed is that a concept called universal design. And it's applied to other things as well in general in the world, but I thought it was really interesting in education. The idea is that if you designed your lessons to be as accessible as possible, then that not only helps the kids who need more support, it helps everybody, okay? Just as an example, if we're going to come back to issues of accessibility, for example, it's not a huge, not only is it not an inconvenience to everyone else if all public buildings are mandated to have ramps, but sometimes people who can walk stairs need a ramp. Maybe you're pushing a stroller. Maybe you're pushing a cart with stuff. Ramps are useful, not only for people who need them because they're in wheelchairs or whatever the reason that they need a ramp and they can't climb stairs. So that's just an example that I think the whole idea that it's an inconvenience to be accessible to people who need a little extra support is just so wrong-headed and so selfish and so ableist. Like, I'm thinking of all the brouhaha about Kamala Harris and the blue suit and so on. She was at a meeting. It was the 32nd anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act. She was meeting with leaders of disability organizations. And so there were people there with vision issues. And as a courtesy, and she didn't make this up, this is something that I've run into in all sorts of fora, and nobody goes crazy about it, is that she described herself. Because people who can't see still want to have some sort of concept of what's going on. Sometimes people weren't born blind. They do know what blue looks like. Maybe people just have low vision and they can see like a vague blue thing, but but now they know that that is her because that blue foggy thing is her because they know she's wearing blue. And you know what? It just helps people be more part of what's going on, because one thing that really I've seen happen with people with disabilities, and I've been taking all sorts of classes and so on with people with disabilities, and it's really sensitized me to a lot of what goes on there, is that they become very isolated, especially now. Like, one of my favorite disabled people is, I've barely seen her in the past, 2.5 years because she has MS and she's does not want to get COVID. As you can imagine, it would be really bad for her. And so she's isolated, and she's 26 years old, and she's basically stuck in her parents' house, and she can't go anywhere except for walks or whatever. This is really, really painful. The isolation is, I think, the worst part. And it was, in the beginning of the pandemic, everybody was stuck in their houses. And it was particularly hard for people with disabilities because the rest of us could get out and go for walks or whatever, and they were stuck inside. And a lot of people are still stuck inside to this day, especially in countries where they're just pretending that it's over and nobody wears a mask. I'm really grateful that on all Canadian planes and trains and so on, they require masks. Unfortunately, we can't require it on buses, which is worrisome. Excuse me, still a little hoarse from the COVID. But it's really a good thing that people are wearing masks. Even if they're wearing them badly, it's better than not wearing them at all. And so basically you have a situation when you have high transmission in the population, and basically the CDC is telling people that they don't need to bother with masks. It's basically saying that disabled people and immunocompromised people don't matter. And this kind of eugenics is not new. People have been doing it all the time. I mean, I've just been following stuff in Canada. We have a thing called MAID, which is Medical Assistance in Dying, which originally was supposed to be only for people who are terminally ill. And now they're extending it to basically anybody who wants it, pretty much, which means that a lot of disabled people who are living in poverty and in really bad conditions are choosing to die, have medical assistance in death, rather than feel that they're a burden to their families, and thinking that they're living in dire poverty and isolation and misery. And they're like, why would I bother? And this is my understanding, and I got this from Twitter, so take this for what it's worth, that medical people are actually bringing this as options for disabled people, to suggest this to them. And I think that is just unconscionable. It is just unconscionable. I mean, I am a fan of people having choice in this matter. I think, that banning MAID altogether is not a great thing, but to make it so that people who are disabled and living in poverty just die rather than trying to find a solution where they can have a dignified life just really, really upsets me. So anybody who thought that Canada was some sort of utopia where bad things don't happen, guess what? Things happen here too. So anyway, I will be wrapping this rant up pretty soon, especially since I I've not so far had any conversation coming at me live, so I'm hoping that there will be comments later. And if you've been commenting and I can't see it, then I apologize because I would totally love to chat with you. So, again, if you're on here live, drop me a comment, say hello, tell me where you're from, tell me if you think I'm talking nonsense or you agree with me, or you'd like to see some things different. But anyway, I just wanted to bring to your attention, because I will admit this was not something that I paid a lot of attention to until I started taking some classes with disabled people and started following more people on disabled Twitter. And even just right now, as I'm recovering from COVID, I mean, I'm not disabled, thank God. But, I get tired. Usually I run like 5 kilometers a few times a week. And now I'm lucky to be able to walk 2 because I just get really tired. So God willing, this will pass, but it does give me some vision of what things might be like for me. Maybe, I'm 60 now, maybe in 20, 25 years, I will have mobility issues and I will have trouble, doing the sort of things that I do now. And so I would really like to see that people who are not disabled take into account the lives of people who are. Because as I've mentioned, not only does it not have to be an inconvenience, it can in fact turn out to be an advantage for everybody, just like with universal design in education, just like ramps on buildings, on public buildings. Like if every public building is required to have a ramp that is convenient also for people who are pushing strollers or even just pushing, a cart of books or something heavy that you don't want to carry up the stairs. It's convenient to have a ramp, for just as an example. Or if it's in education with universal design, if you set up your lessons in such a way that it's going to be accessible to a lot of kids, then even the kids who do get it more quickly, they're going to benefit from the added, maybe added explanations, maybe different modalities, maybe something is written and also in a video, and also, maybe there's music. There's like all sorts of different modalities to try and make things accessible to people. And it's actually good for everybody when accessibility is taken into account. Oh, hi, David. When accessibility is taken into account in the creation of anything, whether it's a lesson plan, whether it's a building, whether it's a policy, whether it's even, things like requiring people to wear masks in crowded public places, to bear in mind that there are people for whom getting infected with, trust me, it's not fun for anybody. I am quadruple vaxxed and it hit us pretty hard around here. So it's not fun for most people. But again, there are people for whom it's a death sentence. And it's really, and these are all people that somebody loves. They're people who are worth just as much as humans as anybody else. And this hidden eugenics project of culling the herd, getting rid of disabled people, is pernicious and it's evil. And I just wanted to come out and say that. So I would love to hear from anybody who's watching on any of the modalities where this is going right now. And I'm going to close her down. I am very grateful for everyone who came on. And like I said, if you're watching a replay, drop me a comment that says replay, and I would love to have a conversation with you. So have a great evening. Remember, I love you. I'll be back next week with Sunday Silver with Hadass. Bye-bye.